Conventional wisdom, Democrats are on defense.
Oh, yeah.
We like to be skeptical about everything. Is there any reason to cast doubt on conventional wisdom right now?
Well, I mean, it's not a question of whether, it's a question of how much, right? So you can think about a few scenarios. You could go with a Republican wave, that the Republican vote has been understated dramatically and that they're going to outperform pre-election polls by 4 or 5 or 6 points, that it's just going to be.
This is 2016.
This is 2010. This is crazy Republican year, and we haven't seen it coming. Republicans are feeling very good about
yeah,
they're in it. They're on the hopium. And then the much more likely scenario is that it's a good Republican year, but it's not a wave. It's a ripple that flips a bunch of close races. When you look across the map, what do you see? Tons and tons and tons of really close House races and a handful of really close Senate races. And the Republicans don't need a wave to win the House. They don't need a wave to win the Senate. They just need a gentle little tidal push to take them over because these races are so close. What would a great night for Democrats look like? It would look like a great week because it would take forever because these races will be close. And when it gets to be 7 o'clock in the East and 7:30 in the East, as we're trying to call races, if it's slow going, Democrats will feel encouraged. If it goes fast, Republicans will feel really good, right? Republicans are looking for an early night.
Hopium, a dangerous drug.
Oh, yeah.
Very dangerous drug. Forecasting control of Congress. This is real clear politics. It's not our internals. Senate 53-47, GOP 227-174. Big Republican pickup there. Democrats I talked to have previewed 2 talking points.
Okay.
One is, hey, at least this wasn't 2010. It wasn't 1994. It's clearly that, these numbers aren't the sort of huge tidal red wave. And 2, just think about how much worse it would have been for Democrats if Trump had not been part of the picture.
Yeah.
Does that have any credibility?
Well, there's going to be the Biden argument, which is don't blame me.
He's already sort of said that.
Don't blame me. It's not my fault. It was not me. I was not there. And by the way, you can tell how unpopular with independent and persuadable voters both Biden and Trump are by where they're campaigning. As you pointed out, now poor Kamala Harris, they sent her to Massachusetts. Now that's just sad.
Oh, and Illinois too.
That's just sad when they make you go to the bluest state, Rhode Island up next. But the Trump is in Ohio, he's in Texas, he's in Florida, he's in 1 races, right? So there's not a lot of persuasion that either of these 2 leaders of the National Party are going to be able to come up with. For Democrats, the question is this. Can they take the right lessons away from this, right? So the lesson for Democrats is if you can't talk to voters about kitchen table basic issues, if you cannot talk about how expensive gasoline is, how expensive food is, and why crime is such a problem, if you can't have real world solutions for that, even voters who agree with you about the concerns about democracy, even voters who agree with you about the threats to the republic, all of that are still going to say, I'm going to take a pragmatic sounding Republican over a Democrat because they want to send a message to the blue team.
Well, it's also what you care about. If you don't feel safe and you don't feel economically secure, not much else really matters. A Democratic strategist on CNN earlier, it's almost as we plan this segue. Take a listen.
We did not listen to voters in this election, and I think we're going to have a bad night. When voters tell you over and over and over again that they care mostly about the economy, listen to them. Stop talking about democracy being at stake.
It seems so simple. Why was that not done?
Well, it's hard to know, as George Orwell said, to see the nose on one's face requires a constant struggle. Fish don't know they're wet. Democrats believed that the world that they were living in 2021 was one in which the Republican Party was repudiated, that it had failed and was delegitimized, that the January 6th attack had delegitimized the Republican Party, and that's how Democrats saw things. I want you to do a thought experiment here. What if the Republicans had normal Senate nominees in all of these key races, right? First of all, they would have saved about $400 million that they could have put into other races that could be up against Patty Murray, that could be in New Hampshire. But instead, they've spent all of this money. Herschel Walker doesn't need to be. Republicans shouldn't be tied in Georgia. They shouldn't be tied in Pennsylvania. They shouldn't be tied in Arizona. They're ahead in Nevada.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.